When I was dating, you can be fine and super rich if you're traditional. Doyin is not your wife. The system doesn't slow down for you because you are a mom. A lot of women are smart, like across the world. I've seen women better at schools, getting higher
100%.
GPAs than the boys.
Yes. She will always tell me that if you need me, I will show up.
Yeah.
For whatever you need. And it's also important for you to see me work.
A lot of women are not ready for a man to take 50% of their money.
Do you think that workplaces actually value mothers?
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the episode. We'll introduce ourselves later, but what are we talking about today?
Hi, we're talking about parenting and building a career, especially as a 30-something-year-old woman. But before we get into all of that, how have you been? How was your week?
My week was busy. I feel like everyone is preparing for end of year. So the week was busy. I just found myself doing a lot of work. Like, I think after next week, we're recording this like, what is December 12th?
Yeah, December 13th.
So after next week, everyone is like, boy, bye.
Yeah.
So this week was busy at work. And I spent a lot of time in my head this week just thinking about, like, what do I want to do next? And all the 1 million ideas I have. So, yeah, between both, it felt like a really busy week. But I really looked forward to us doing this today. So I'm excited.
Okay, that's good because...
How was your week?
My week was hectic. My week was packed. I had a few deliverables.
You just got back.
Yes, I got back.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the jet lag wasn't the worst thing from the week. It was just getting back into a routine. But I think we're, as a family, at least, settled, no jet lag, and yeah.
It's also perfect time to travel.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect time to travel.
December.
It's December. Family's ready to celebrate and spend time. And it's a bit grey in this area. So.
Yeah. It was good to go out.
And then you realize how grey it is when you come back.
You went to Nigeria, so it's supposed to be Hamatan, right?
It was not Hamatan. It was not Hamatan. It was not Hamatan. Yes.
Yeah,
it was raining. We were sweaty. It was hot.
That is not Hamatan.
I expected it to actually be cold in the evenings, but good luck sleeping at night without AC. Yeah, okay. It was hectic. But I'm glad I still went. Thank you for having me. Let's get to today's episode and it's kind of like a good segue because from your week you talked about like working, rounding off your tasks for the year, but you still have your responsibilities as a parent. So to kind of open the topic, what's a moment either this week or anytime and really where you felt like being a parent directly collided with your work or your career? And it doesn't have to be a negative experience, but how did you navigate through it?
Not this week.
Okay.
Not this week, but I sort of have two examples of that. One is when I used to work at my previous job. So I had the job for some time. I was doing the job after business school. And then it was very really intense environment, fast paced and all of that. I was working in management consulting, and then I had my baby, and I did not know there were some kids made in heaven or made some, I don't know where kids are made, that don't take formula.
Yes.
So I did not know there was that breed. So I had her and she wasn't taking formula and she was like losing all the weight, which may be normal. I think kids lose weight after they're born. Yeah. But hers was really drastic.
And you're also a first-time mom.
I was a first-time mom. I didn't realize on time that this was not normal. So I think the struggle for me where I felt like I had to pick between motherhood and building a career was when I needed to pump in the office. So I had 3 months off or barely 3 months off, and I went back to work and it was in person. And so I would go to this quiet, small room, tiny room they made for moms.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. And I will pump and clean the bottles and all of that. So by the time I spent 90 minutes there, it was always so hard for me to go back to work and still be the same pace and, do the things you expected to do in management consulting. So that was really hard for me, and it was a really rough time. And so that's one example where I felt like I needed to choose one.
Yeah.
And I chose to leave the job and just figure out how I can have a more balanced life a bit.
Yeah.
But balance is an interesting word, which we can go into later. But that's one example for sure where I felt like I needed to pick one side.
Yeah, I feel like that's really tough to be like at work thinking about something that is high pressure, but at the same time, I need to pump.
Yes.
Or else I might need to change my shirt.
Exactly. And this human won't take formula. And, there was one of those days I forgot to take the bottles. I left it at home. So I had to find a flask in the office, a random. Like it just was impacting my mental health. I'm like, I need to leave this situation.
Yeah.
But yes, that was one example.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think for me, generally, I find that most days, without being intentional, I sometimes feel like it collides in the sense that some days you have doctor's appointments, you have to do pickup, you have to make dinner, and some days your kid is just having a harder day than usual, and you have to find a way to park that and be at work and think about
and be very focused
and whatever, write code, do a presentation.
So by the way, Simone is a real woman.
But so I feel like most days, and one thing that really stands out to me is very recently, actually this week, my daughter recently found out that people die.
Wait, who told her?
At school.
I have examples of that, but go on.
At school, one of her classmates, and this is 4-year-olds. One of her classmates told her that when you get to 100 years old, you're gonna die.
I mean, that's fair.
Which is fair.
But then, fair.
I mean, it's fair. But for her, just like, wait, why can't we regrow if we die? Like plants regrow.
Plants.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Why can't we regrow if we die?
And then she should be a woman.
And then she now started trying to figure out how far out each of her family members are from 100 years old.
Oh.
And then she now started having nightmares about it. Like it was like 3 days kind of thing. So for me, just dealing with that, and you don't also realize that as a parent, you also have to account for your own mortality when you're like having those conversations. But then you have to get to work and be like, okay, let me put this to the side. And
I'm glad you mentioned mortality, because one thing that we don't need to get to, because I can derail the entire conversation. But at some time, I would love to talk about like what is the scariest thing about being a mom for you?
Let's come down.
Well, from what you just said about her classmates mentioning death and everything, was Nana's classmate too?
Yeah.
Taught her about death.
Yes.
In fact, the example the girl used in class was that her grandpa is dying tomorrow.
Oh wow!
And that it was the dentist that told them.
That's rough. The poor dentist. That's very rough.
Which dentist?
I mean, how did the dentist?
Yeah, and when I now spoke with the girl's parents on a play date, they were now explaining that it's true that the mom was like, she just lost her dad 2 months ago.
Oh no!
And so they were going to Taiwan to kind of, do some burial stuff. Yeah. But the girl just mixed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And said the dentist
is the one that's the culprit.
I informed them. I'm like, I love this part of motherhood where you're hearing about dentists telling someone they're dying soon.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And I feel like for kids, there's no, like, everything is fair game. Like, there's no logic to, like, temper that out and, like, dentists will not really tell you that.
There's no logic.
I mean, the dentist said it, so.
Yeah, so, and one other thing I wanted to share on the example you gave about, like, the like a kid could be sick and you kind of need to deal with that day to day. When I was on the second example, when I was on this previous job as well, when we just had the baby, it felt like she became sick the exact day I had an important client. I used to be like, that these weapons fashioned against me. It was always that day.
Yes. I 100% agree with you.
I'm like,
and for us, like,
this fits for me.
She would fall sick at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's never at a reasonable time where you can go to sleep. Or you can go to a hospital. Where you know you're gonna have to go to the emergency room, and you know that they're not gonna see you for at least 4 or 5 hours.
The emergency is never really emergency.
Yeah, but Anyway, I'm glad we're out of that phase. I think I'm glad we're out of this. But then, thinking about like your parenting journey right now, would you say that you're a different person? Like the Doyin parenting?
Different person.
Yes. Would you say you're a different person? And which parts of yourself will you feel like you lost, and which parts of yourself do you feel like you gained?
First off, I'm glass half empty. So can we start from that? Okay. So my mind focuses on the negative a lot more than on the positive. But I'm working on it.
Okay, so
okay. I think first career. There are some jobs right now or some paths that I just don't even apply to, even though some days I'm really interested.
And why is that?
Because right now where I'm at, and maybe this is a choice, is if I'm going to work more than say 7 to 6 p.m., it's not for me.
That's fair.
But the reality is, when you're at certain, everybody wants to grow and they want to be VP.
Yeah.
Those VPs work weekends.
I was going to say that.
Those VPs work, sometimes they get on calls at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
That's the part that people don't talk about when we talk about want to grow in our careers.
Yes.
Those CVPs or SVPs, whatever you call them, they are chatting with each other about work, going to meet in the office on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So for me,
they're being open to travel also.
They are always in Australia and this place and that place. So it's not as glamorous as we see on the internet being a leader, at least in corporate America. So for me, I've made the choice that I will not do a job right now. And I believe in seasons, right? That's the way I think about motherhood. Like this current season, I will not apply to a job. I will not accept an offer that requires me to work more than the max is 7 to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
When Nana gets back home, I'm done with work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, and there's no aftercare after 6 p.m.
So you don't really have much of a choice.
So for me, that's the deliberate choice I made. So career-wise, I feel like there's a price, right? And I think it's okay, but we just have to acknowledge that there's a price for being a parent.
Okay, let's park a little bit at this price here. Yeah. Do you think that the price being paid now, you can, or let's say maybe the time being lost now, you can regain it later? Is this something that is regainable? Let's say you feel 5 years from now, okay, I'm ready to hop back in. Is it something that you can pick up easy, or like, what's that for you?
Yeah, I think that's so interesting, because I'll say what I've realized is I am a woman that worked for some years before having a kid.
That's fair, yeah.
If I got out of college, started a job, and I had a kid in the first year, it's different.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends that did that, I believe it's a lot harder for them to get back into the workforce. And even when they get back, the leveling is just not perfect. It's not right and all those things. But I worked. I worked for a good 5 years before coming to America. And in America, I worked for a couple of years before the baby. So, like, there's
that experience that you can call on.
Yeah, and I have some experience working in corporates at different countries. So there's that. But I also believe that you pay that price, which is you can't work as much. You can't go for the happy hours where people are doing handshakes. Yes. You can't do all those
the networking that happens outside of the
office.
Yes, exactly.
You can't do all those things. So you pay that price. But the frame with which I've been looking at this thing, more recently is, let's be honest, we have 35 years of work. If you grow old, die 100. Like, come on, you have at least 35 years of work. I believe I can regain it. And I am not also, I think it's important to mention that I am not someone that believes 9 to 5 is the only path for
exactly.
me. I will go out of 9 to 5, do entrepreneurship or whatever, and come back and do both and go back. Like, I feel like 35 years is long enough for a career. I feel like I will regain it, but that's not a statement everyone can make.
Okay. And there's also the part of figuring out, and you talked a little bit about this, of what gives you that flexibility to be able to ebb back and forth.
Yeah.
And it seems like part of it, like you mentioned, is experience.
Yes.
Part of it is about being intentional of like your career and when you have a child.
Yeah.
But if you say top 3, what are they?
That will help me come.
Yes.
1, experience. 2, we're also very highly educated with.
Let me fair enough. We got
to Colombia. So there's that.
Yeah.
One day you can just dust this PhD and be like, you know what? Let me go and beg one professor somewhere. Even if it's not in America, in this, like, so we have experience, we have education, and 3, we have options. There's something, and we are not talking about money today, but whatever episode. But there's just something about, at least I have emergency fund.
Yes.
People used to call it FU money.
Yeah.
That's money stuff nonsense.
Yes, worst comes to worst.
Like, I have emergency fund. You can't tell me nonsense. If the nonsense is too much, let me
let me respect myself. Exactly.
You know, so I feel like between money, that's one, and I think if I even were to categorize it, I'll say money and the knowledge that you can make money anywhere.
The knowledge to make money. The
knowledge that I can actually start something, whether it's in Nigeria, in America, or in Ghana, I can.
Yeah.
That I can.
Yeah.
It save life.
Fair enough. So,
but what are your top 3?
I think it's the knowledge that you can make money.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the emergency fund because especially when you're a parent, you need a little bit of breathing room.
You do.
Because bills are not paid off with co-water, Gary and granules. So having that room. And then thirdly, say maybe just being more confident in yourself. I think there's this whole thing around parenting, especially mothers, where like self-doubt creeps in. You start to second guess yourself, which we'll get into. But just being confident, I've done it before.
Yeah,
I have the knowledge. I can do it again. I think would be my top 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted us to think a little bit about is, do you think that workplaces actually value mothers? And let's contrast and compare. We'll talk a little bit about the US and maybe Nigeria, maybe Cameroon. Do you think mothers are valued in the workspace? Or are they just tolerating them like, oh, if we must be politically correct, let women be working? What do you think?
I think it's the latter, right? Do I think workspaces are designed like for mothers or for? No, but it's also hard for me to make the case.
Why? Tell me more.
Like, the truth is, especially like in a place like America, productivity is important. It's an economy driven on like output and the service you can offer and what you can render, and those things are just hard. I've always been very ambitious, but like you see that time when Nana was a baby, if I tell you I'll come 12, I can come 3.
I mean, it's not your fault at that point in time. You have a landlady there.
So is it also fair to assume that the workplace are just for you? I don't know what fairness means, but someone needs to have these babies for us as humanity, as a species, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, I don't think corporate America, come back to Nigeria, but I don't think corporate America is built for mothers. Like it's designed and engineered for them. But I don't also know how to make the case that it should be. on whatever episode we talk about fairness, is it also fair to the women that choose not to have kids?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
that's a whole other kind of work.
So the topic of fairness is a little hard for me.
Yeah.
But so I'll say I don't think it's designed for mothers, especially new moms. To the other question around like, are they just tolerating? Yes.
But let's take like European nations or even potentially like Canada, where women have about a year post-birth.
Yeah.
Versus say in the US, where if I say cutting edge companies are closer to 5 months, are closer to maybe 4 months.
And that's even new.
And that's exactly.
It used to be like the best companies were 3 months. But
yes.
Okay.
So if we were to take that, for example, I don't think European countries or Canada is less productive. I think the pace might be different, but I don't know about productivity.
I think in my experience, there's almost no country on earth as productive as America. Okay. The size of this economy.
Okay.
There's a price to build an economy this big. It's built on all this madness. That woman that would have taken a year off. The truth is, and we can talk about it next time. We have too many topics for next time. But we can talk about it next time. But a lot of women are smart, like across the world. Seeing women better at schools, getting higher GPAs than the boys. Yes. We are now on average earning more than, not on average, but we're getting there, earning more than our husbands. Like women are earning like our parents could not dream.
100%.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. So there's that. So that woman that would have taken a year off could have been making millions for you at whatever company if you are just giving her 3 months, right? So I think there's a reason America is able to build this economy.
But then you're assuming that the value is only instantaneous in the sense that giving women, let's say, an additional 2 months off, however much they would have made, they cannot make it when they come back. And for me, I'm not convinced about that argument.
I'm not too. I can agree both sides. That's what I'm saying. Like, is there enough studies to say if you gave me 7 months versus 5 months, maybe by the time I come back, I'm fresh, I can do way more.
And also, at that point, you're more confident about your child's ability to, I don't want to say to be self-sustaining, but to be more independent than they were.
So is it 7 months or 2 years? For me, if you ask me to design time off for mothers, 2 years, please. I actually need 2 years to be mentally okay.
It took me I would say about 3 years to start to feel like myself. Before then,
2 years. Yeah. You know, which in my head is like, I just don't think corporate America is built that way.
Okay.
It's built on.
So then, are you saying that women who desire to grow in their career just need to tolerate I don't know what's called, the struggle, the hustle, whatever it is, whatever the term is, like that push and pull between?
I think women need to be deliberate.
Okay, what does that mean?
What that means for me, listen, I can't change the whole world.
Fair enough.
I mean, I will change it a tiny bit one day at a time.
Yeah.
But there's a system in place.
Okay.
What matters to me is that I'm aware. I'm aware of the consequences of the action I'm taking.
Fair.
If I choose to, the truth is I used to work in management consulting. A lot of there were many women that chose not to have kids until they made partner.
That's true. Yeah.
You see now, because and I'm not saying that's good or bad, but you can tell they are making a conscious decision.
Yes.
Like, you know what, I want to get this career to a level. And the truth is, when you become partner, you have a lot more flexibility.
Yes.
That's when all the madness you've endured for 15 years pays off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, but we'll put that against. There's also a cost to childbearing.
Yeah, yes. What if you can't have the child by the time
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. As a woman, I love that I can have the information in front of me.
Okay.
And say, I will make this choice knowing the consequences. The truth is, the system is the way it is.
Yes.
As someone that went back to work after maternity leave for just 3 months, the system doesn't slow down for you because you are a mom.
That's very true.
You are the one. You have to kind of like amp up,
yes, level
and
up.
get back.
Yes, 100% I agree.
Especially in certain spaces. So that's, for me, I wish I knew more of like, this is the reality.
And then just being intentional about it.
Like now I know if I were to have a second child, which is another topic,
I think we'll get that.
I would design it a bit
differently.
Like, okay,
yeah. So I think also it aligns with the thought that every path somewhat has its own challenges.
Exactly.
And you need to pick.
Yeah, you just need to pick. You
Which
can't
one?
change corporate America in 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever chosen your child over work, or your work over your child? And how did you feel about it?
First off, and I want to hear your thoughts about this.
Okay.
I am not, even if I were to design the ideal state of the world for me, I am not the mom that likes to spend 24/7 with her child.
Yeah, I
love my child.
I agree with that.
But please go to daycare.
Yeah. I actually believe in quality over quantity.
Like,
yes, and be intentional. Yeah.
Like, if I spend more than 8 hours, sometimes I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
So I maybe I'm not mother enough, but that's what it is for me. So I'm not the woman that wants to spend a lot of time just maybe at this phase. No.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe when she's a teenager and we're going shopping together.
Yeah, that's a different. Yeah.
I don't mind that. You know, but that one has its challenges too. But when I've had to when I felt like the choice was between being more mommy than more career doing, I have chosen to be more mommy.
Yes.
Choose. And that's, I think, one of the biggest reasons for me is the biggest asset I have in my life is my mom.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that.
So like I want to gift that to my child.
Yeah.
So when I felt like I needed to choose, I choose mommy doing. If it means slowing down in my career, not moving as fast. I took a pay cut to go to my current job. Which was hard for me. People don't talk about taking a pay cut is the emotional side, what it does to your mind, right? Not just the cash, right? So I've made that choice, and I'll keep making the choice to be more mommy than to be career doing. I cannot sit here and also tell you that's not one of the reasons I don't want to have a second child. So I'm also, what I'm trying to say is I'm kind of picking career and all of those. Not just career is an interesting word, but the other sides of me over being a mom a second time.
Yes. Okay, I mean, that's fair. I would agree with you that for me, when I think of like growing up, there was never a time that I would call my mom either on the phone or in person, and she would not stop to talk to me.
Your mom was a real career woman.
And I really remember there was this time she was at work.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to print Harry Potter books or something. So, I mean, it was a very flimsy reason. But she was in a meeting.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I need to talk to you. And she was like, the first thing she told me was like, okay, give me a minute. She came out. She was like, is it urgent? I was like, it depends. She's like, okay, what do you need? And we talked about it. But the fact that she was like, okay, let me put a pause to what I'm doing and attend to you, regardless of whether it's important to me or not, but it seems to be fairly important to you. I value that a lot. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that she would not go for her meeting, she will not travel, she will not do all of that because she wants to spend time with me.
Yeah.
But she will always tell me that if you need me, I will show up for whatever you need. And it's also important for you to see me work. That's
actually really powerful.
That was something that for me, like having a child, I also want to be able to gift. It's not just that I'm available to you, I'm here for your needs. We don't need to spend the whole day together. And also, it's not fair to expect that everything your child needs, they will be able to get from you. There's other experiences that provide different sorts of information. So I want to be available for her, but I don't want to be her only source of information. And I want her to know that it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm working, I can stop. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an emergency room doctor. I'm not saving anybody's life.
I find it.
So I can stop for 5 minutes and answer her question, or I can be more flexible in my schedule. even if that means I have to work a little bit later at night, and I go watch, for example, this week she has an obstacle course thing at school, so I'm going to go watch that at like 9 a.m. But then that means I have to work a little bit later at night, but that's okay to me. If there were ever a decision to be made, I will pick my child, because I can only have one child, that is her. But when it comes to jobs, when it comes to careers, I can find something else if that's the case.
No, okay. I agree.
So the next thing I want to talk about is support systems, privilege, and the hard truth of actually being a parent. So do you think that being successful in your career means that you must have help at home? And do you think that it is a bad thing or a good thing to acknowledge that you have help at home? Because again, there's this image of like, oh, I'm a strong woman, I'm a strong mother, like I don't know, making waffles in the morning, pounding yam at night, and doing presentations during the day. Is it okay to say, for me to be able to do my presentations, I actually have help? I have someone who helps me do dinner. I have someone who helps me clean. Like, what are your thoughts around that image of being a strong career woman and parent versus saying, okay, I actually need help to be able to do this?
If you like, trust social media. But there's something related to this. One day I was thinking about it. Most of the women I've seen make partner, SVP, CVP. These are top of their career people. Most of them, their husbands are stay-at-home dads.
Someone has to. So, and that was my next question. Like, what your career looks like with your partner. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
But that's just one day I started, I'm like, this thing, the math is...
I mean, I want to have seen the light now. It's benefiting everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an important topic.
Yes.
I don't know if we can get to it today.
I mean, at least we have to scratch the surface a little bit. Back. Yes, I'll come back.
But anyway, to answer your real question, like, I didn't see my mom at the time I was born. My mom was hustling. My mom would come home 2 a.m.
Ooh.
Yes, 1 a.m. Like, that's when I was in primary school. That was my mom.
But that also explains your ghost period, though. Like, get to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my dad was more at home because the man had built his career, his life. I had money that woman didn't have. Yeah. So he was in the rest of his career.
And she was like, I need to make it.
I'm going to make it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? So I don't know where we... like this doing it all. In primary school, they used to call us sardine and bread.
What was that? Who's the sardine? Who's the bread?
Me and my sister.
Okay.
My older sister, sardine and bread, because my mom does not have time to cook.
Rush.
But we had money.
Yeah.
She will be giving us money anyhow.
Yeah. At that point in time.
Go with sardine and bread, but she'll come home 2 a.m. So who is cooking for who at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, I think help is so important in motherhood, and that's something I really miss as someone that's raising a kid in America. Like, where I'm from, you'll be complaining, what's this auntie still doing here? Like, like, what is this auntie still doing here? Like, you have auntie, mother-in-law, my mom will send 2 people. Yeah. Like, it's an entire village over one child. Yes. So you almost don't touch that child for some time. Yes. They focus on you go heal, you know, and everything. But here it's like completely different.
I mean, you're the cook, you're the driver, you're the everything.
So like, if I can outsource, I will totally outsource. Like, and if I were redoing motherhood, like another child, I would totally, night nurse I'll get.
Yes.
Day nurse I'll get. You know, nanny, the whole thing. I'll make sure I also save towards that.
Yes.
Like money.
Exactly.
I'm prepared for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this alone thing again.
Yeah.
Never again. If I can't hire all those 5 people, once I have the child, I'll take a flight to Lagos.
I mean, there you get it for cheaper.
I have 5 sisters. Like, how bad can it get?
I mean, each of them will take
one of them has to take one day, and we're good, right? So for me, help all the way.
Help all the way.
And all these career things we're talking about, how do you build career without help?
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Like, that's true.
Who is doing mother? You will begin to lose at both. That's what I'm realizing.
Yes.
You lose at mother, like you will not feel fulfilled at the motherhood thing.
Yes.
And at work, you'll be getting that boost every day.
Yes. Because I mean, you're stretched on all corners. Yes, you're stretched on all corners. I mean, also a human being. For me, my posture, there's just one of me. I can't go and sacrifice myself here. And even for me, like growing up, I remember I had a nanny who did a lot of things to help my mom. And like you mentioned here, it's really hard to get that, but I try to outsource as much as possible for cleaning, for if I can even get someone to cook for me, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll get
this one cook. I'll do just tiny thing. Nannies are like 4K, like a full-time nanny here. 4K per month or more.
And you notice, like, I think when people have 2 kids, they now switch to that module because
it makes sense.
It makes sense. The economics of it makes sense. But okay, now coming to the partner conversation, what do you think your partner's role should be in helping you advance your career?
Thank you. Relative
to being a parent?
This is the one people may come for me for. It depends, right? If you are married to, let's say, an African man with some traditional values.
Okay.
You know, some of them have been taught that providing is their, like not the only responsibility, but it's primary responsibility. And the moment you take that away from them, you have mental health issues, right? He's not okay. He doesn't know how to live in this world where it's this woman providing.
He can't situate himself within the household.
Yes. He can't. And a lot of them, that's their, what's the word? That's their
identity.
Yes,
primary identity.
It's an identity issue. Now that aside, which we'll talk about another day, the way I think about the role of my partner when we're having kids is, one, I'm very practical. If you tell me because I'm ambitious and you are ambitious, number one, when we're dating, I'm telling you, I'm actually very ambitious. Even now, I'm not yet at my prime. I'm quite an ambitious person. If you are also ambitious, we can both agree, let's not have kids. I won't even fight you. I'm okay. Right? But the moment.
But what if he wants kids?
Fine. If he wants kids, I would say let's both look at who is on a path here. If it's me, the woman, like maybe I earn more and my career trajectory is looking good, I should be the one. Let's focus on me being the money machine. And you take a step back a bit. Not that you won't work, but we expect that the flexibility comes from you, not from me. You understand? But you have to make sure the documents are right. If anything goes wrong in the marriage, because I believe every marriage ends in death or in divorce.
I mean,
one way or the other, if anything goes wrong, that partner should get 50%.
100%.
And that's or minimum 50% or whatever arrangement. But that's the part I don't also think women are ready for. Some of them,
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Why? I mean, if you're with, anyway,
a lot of women are not ready for a man to take 50% of their money.
Why?
Think about it's you are on a different. You are not like this money is the whole world, and but they believe I've worked hard for, and truly.
But the man works hard also for his money.
But again, we all have to retrain ourselves, the traditional values, or what you've not really thought about the fact that this man always been the one not to take his meeting because our daughter is sick. He needs to get 50% of your money.
100% I agree with that.
Me too.
I don't mind. I honestly,
if it's money,
I don't mind if it's 50%.
Go, know. But by the time you start talking about 50% of millions of dollars, it's not as simple as we think it should be. But you have certain values that may make it slightly easier for you.
Okay, fair enough.
So, but women are also at different places, and if you're coming from a place where money is a big part of how you get your power and your identity as a woman,
and potentially even a sensitive spot
for you, so But let's just be realistic. If I'm the one on a good trajectory, let's focus on my career. If my husband is the one as well, let's kind of make him the money source. But
what about seasons? What about, okay, in this season,
exactly,
we push this, and in the next season
we push the other person. Yeah. I just feel like those are some of the conversations that we're not ready for, or like people don't have enough of. Like, is he also the kind of man that will say, you know what, I've had the ride for the last 5 years, I need my woman to boost her career. Let me slow down a bit. Right?
I mean, but when do you have these conversations? Are you having these conversations at the dating phase? Because some things you don't know until you're in it. And sometimes you think you know the answer, but until you're in it, you don't know the answer.
My response to that is look for one or two values in a person that can help make some of these decisions easier.
Yes.
Is this the kind of man?
Yeah.
As an example, when I was dating, you can be fine and super rich. If you're traditional, Doyin is not your wife. Like, the issue is women know what they want. Or just like own your thing.
Yeah.
Like, I see some of my friends and I'm like, or like my sister. I've discussed my sister at length with you. Like, you know that this guy is not your
say no good.
But you know, and the guy has good character. And he's a nice person. No, me, I like the guys that really liked me then, but they were even 1 inch of like being traditional, and I'm not against traditional values, but I know that we will clash.
So what you want,
for what I want,
right? That's fair.
So I think, like, if you know that you're ambitious, you want to be the one, you want to push your career to whatever extent, you are willing to give up even motherhood or some seasons of it for it. Don't go and marry a man that believes a woman should be at home.
Yes, and who's expecting dinner to be served by 6:30 p.m.
The one that can't eat Costco.
You only eat fresh rice. You cannot eat food from the freezer.
But what do you think?
I think for me, when I was making a decision, my primary criteria was someone who is kind.
Yes.
And the reason
You're a good human being.
Yeah, the reason I prioritize being kind is if you're inherently a kind person, you can empathize with the other person. You can see why something is important to the other person. And even being kind, you can deprioritize yourself because you think you agree with the other person. And also, at the end of the day, I think someone who is kind, you understand that you're building together as opposed to I'm building for myself. So even if the person takes a step back, and it might seem like they're taking a step back in their personal career, so long as it's moving the household forward, I think it's still a good thing. So that was my main criteria.
And that household mindset versus me versus him. Like, I feel like it's so powerful.
100%. Even in terms of like, and I know this is a sidebar, even in terms of arguments, like sometimes when I get annoyed and we're in a disagreement, at the end of the day, I'm like, why? Like, what's the point? We're not going anywhere. We are still together. Let me just let's end it. Let's end it and move on. Okay. So coming to my final thought here.
Okay.
If you could speak to yourself pre-motherhood, what would you tell that? What would you tell that version of Doyin? And what would you reassure her of?
I'll tell that version to make money.
Evidently.
Make money.
Okay.
Get to... okay. I'll tell that person, that version of me, that you will lose a bit of control. When you become a mom. I was used to being in charge of my life. I think it's a big part of who I am, and I love it. I love to be in charge of my life, call the shots for myself. But this tiny human can just... Like, it took me by surprise that I do you know how much I hate being even 5 minutes late. But when she came 2 hours late, or sorry, I can't show up again, so
like, what's going on here?
That control thing, and these are tiny examples. You don't also know the kind of child you have, the challenges, all of that. Control is something I should have been mentally prepared for. Letting go of a bit of control.
I agree with you. I think for me, I would tell myself to trust myself more. I think post having a child and working, I've had to learn how to be confident again. Because I think in those early days, you just feel like, what am I doing? I have zero experience here. I don't know what I'm doing. And I have to keep this child alive, keep this child healthy, keep this child fed. And I feel like it has a way of kind of making you question everything. Yourself, I'm overthinking stuff. So I'll just tell myself, people have done it before. Yeah. It's doable and you figure it out. Yeah. And I think that's probably the biggest part of life that I'm leaning into in this season is that I don't need to have everything figured out ahead of time. In the moment, I'll figure it out and that's okay.
I love that. And on that note,
I think we're gonna end here.
Yeah, let's end here.
Do you want to wrap up for us then?
Thank you for watching today's episode.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you when we see you.
When you see you.